What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Equali Espresso, and welcome back to another Advanced Warfare video here today on my channel. Today, what we got for you guys is the patch notes here for the newest patch on the Xbox One and 360, coming also to PlayStation consoles as well as PC early next week. This one was absolutely massive. We got a ton of stuff to go over, including a brand new weapon, a bunch of updates to the game, as well as weaponry in general. So there's a ton of stuff to go over. Like I said, I'm going to paraphrase and skip over a lot of things simply because a lot of it is very technical and some of the stuff you would not even notice unless it was a rare chance. But I will leave the link down in the description below for the full patch notes from Sledgehammer if you want to check out every single point made. That being said, though, we're still going to touch on a lot of stuff here. So without further ado, let's get right into it. First off, in-game updates. What can we see from this? Well, the first point is the full royalty character loot set is now unlockable. There are now 15 more prestige ranks and Grandmaster prestige added into the game. We talked about that earlier, as well as 15 more daily supply drop challenges were added in. A huge one that I am honestly so happy that is finally, hopefully fixed. They said this earlier, but it didn't really fix all of the problems, and it still became a very prominent bug. The SAC 3 with the suppressor attachment, it doesn't play all the way across the map now. If you guys don't know that little glitch, anybody in the map using the SAC 3 suppressed, it would sound like they were right behind you, right next to you, but playing stereo all around you if you're using a gaming headset, and they could be all the way across the map, but you'd still hear the sound regardless, like they were right on top of you. So I'm glad that that finally got taken out. Now, weapon balancing was a huge target of this patch. There's a ton of stuff to go over with this. So jumping right into it, the heavy weapons did get an overall buff, not in terms of weaponry and power, but increased movement speed. The player movement speed with the heavy weapons is now 5% faster than it was previously. The corrected scopes were added onto the AE4. The MK14 has a reduced recoil. Now, that thing is still not the best gun, but hey, anything that you can get to make it a little bit better is nice. The ARX has an increased magazine size, and according to Drifter, actually, apparently the rate of fire was also messed with a little bit to make it a little bit faster. It brings it up to a 900 instead of an 800 RPM now. According to his Twitter, that's what he said over there. But moving on, the AMR9 had an increased damage as well as decreased time between bursts. The SN6 had its recoil reduced. The KF5 had a mid-damage range increased. That is going to help that weapon out tremendously. That at range was one of the things that kind of slightly bugged the weapon itself, but now brings it up a lot more in terms of weapon favorability. On the more powerful SMG side, the Atlas 45 had a mid-damage range increase as well as a max damage range increase as well. The PDW had its damage increased. The shotguns got the hipfire reduced when using Gung Ho. The S12 increased its fire rate as well as had a damage increase. The EPM3 had a reduce in recoil as well as the Lynx, and the ASM1 slightly reduced the initial fire rate. Now, that's something that I see a lot of people complaining about on Twitter right now, simply because the ASM1 is still an absolute monster. I would not expect that to change anytime soon, but the ASM1, if you don't know anything about it, the first 4 shots, I think it is, of the actual clip are in fact a lot faster than the other shots in the clip. So if you are in close quarters and can get your first shot off, it helps out tremendously. Now, slightly reducing that initial fire rate will help balance it out a little bit, despite what people will say, but it really comes down to your shot and how much you can actually be on point with it. Now, moving along to the user interface adjustments in this patch, there are 2 big things with this one. One in a creator class where the diamond and the royalty camo images were actually bugged out. This I posted on Twitter a long while ago. It's been like this for quite some time, in which it was some placeholder camo or potentially a new camo that we can see coming in the future that was just added into those slots by accident and hasn't been fixed since. But right now, the diamond and royalty displays are in fact correct again. Now, the next big thing is the adjustment to the kill feed speed. The adjustment was from 4 seconds to 6 seconds. Keeping it moving once again, score streaks did get updated slightly, the biggest of them being the sentry gun. It can now be destroyed in 1 melee hit rather than the 3 it took previously. The unmodified missile strikes now travel faster when boosting by hitting the fire button while coming down, as well as the Vulcan laser score streak now fires longer. Now, ranked play did also have some updates. Probation was finally added to ranked play for those that disconnect or just quit out quite frequently, as well as it will properly award division points in the case of a forfeited match when the entire other enemy team leaves. Now, that is only going to affect you if you cause the other enemy team to leave, and it's going to appropriate the necessary points and take into consideration consideration that for whatever the amount of time afterwards, you didn't play against an entire team. Now, we're down to our final two categories here, the game mode specific updates. There were a bunch of technical stuff with this, but the biggest one that stood out to me was that Gun Game had leaderboards added for the game mode. So that's something that you can now check against your friends and global leaderboards to see where you stack up in terms of everybody else. The final things here being the Exo Zombies updates, the biggest of these being the ability for players to pause the game in single player private match. Previously, we didn't have a pause menu or pause button for private match solo play, but a lot of people wanted it, and it was something that was quite problematic if you were going to high rounds but didn't have the time to necessarily dedicate at the very moment. Say you had to go out for whatever it may be for a half hour, an hour, and you could come back and actually finish it up. With a pause menu, that is tremendously helpful for people that want to do that, but previously you could not do it, so it is very nice to see that come in. And the second big thing that stood out to me was a various number of exploits where players could remain in place and the zombies would not come after you, so that could in turn be extremely detrimental to the game mode and help take away some of the fun and competition in it, but it is nice to see, again, that go as well. So other than that, there really isn't too much to this patch. Like I said, it was absolutely massive, over a gig in size. Hopefully we covered everything that you needed to know. Like I said though, I will leave the full link in the description below to the full patch notes for everything that you could possibly miss, all the technical and slightly minute stuff that maybe you wouldn't necessarily notice. But that's where we're gonna end it today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me just think down there in the comment section down below, of all these brand new adjustments to the game, what is your personal favorite coming out of this? If you did like the video, be sure to leave a like rating down below. Any shares to your Facebook, Twitter, and or MySpace if you're OG like that, or is greatly appreciated. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe for the best of Call of Duty Advanced Warfare content. Any new news and information, you guys know exactly where to find it right here on my channel. Thank you guys once again so much for watching. My name is Nikolai Espresso. As always, I hope you guys are having a great day. I shall see you guys tomorrow. Take care and peace.
Surprise, motherfucker.